morning, Swamiji.
Hari Om.
So first and foremost, it's a privilege and an honor to talk to somebody like you and ask some stupid questions.
As I told you, there are no stupid questions, but there can be stupid answers.
So, particularly in the world of philosophy, of Vedantic philosophy, my question to you is that I am always confused with the contradiction in the philosophy. When I hear Ishvara is Nirguna, and the other side, we are all told that you go to temple, right? If Ishvara is Nirguna, why would I go to temple and it's absolute? I keep hearing this Jivatma and Paramatma, same, you are one and absolute. Then why people are getting stuck standing in the queue in the temple, and so much of money making is happening in the temple. So that confuses the hell out of me. Our philosophy is so liberating, but why all of us are becoming a victim to economic activity of religion? So this something confuses me, and I'm quite sure it must be confusing many people. On one end, we are talking about liberation, and there's nothing called Ishvara as long as you are consider yourself as certain, God is certain. But fundamentally, so I come from Vivekananda's Ramakrishna mission, and I've seen many Gurujis have said this, but I still haven't been able to understand why are we in this contradictory, conflicting world.
In fact, the whole world is a paradox only, isn't it? But you see, our rishis, they did not separate our say material life from spiritual life. In fact, the Upanishads also make it very clear, especially Ishavasya Upanishad. If we see the implied meaning of certain verses, even Taittiriya Upanishad, instructions to the students is, do not give up your spiritual pursuit, but do not neglect your material progress. Material progress we understand only as greed, unfortunately. No? And therefore, we consider wealth to be evil, bad, but that's greed that makes it evil or bad. In our country, we worship Lakshmi, wealth as Lakshmi. So obviously, we know the importance of wealth. Even to do any noble work, you want to open a hospital or you want to open a temple, you require wealth for that. So we should never be hypocritical about wealth. What is condemned is greed for wealth, because that has got no end. Plus the mental agitations that it creates, plus the crimes that it creates. That is condemned, never wealth. Because wealth is required for our livelihood. As a livelihood, we earn wealth. We need it for our sustenance. We need it for our needs, even to fulfill certain desires if they are not harmful to others or yourself. So even for setting great goals in your life, even for philanthropy work, wealth is required. So we should never deny the importance of wealth. Again, I'll repeat that condemnation is of the greed of wealth, which has got no end, plus the mental agitations that it creates, which does not make our mind available for living a life of our duties, living a life of dharma, righteousness, living a life, where there is freedom to explore the greater potentials of your mind and to venture into discovering the truth. So, it is not that wealth and spirituality is opposed to each other. Greed and spirituality is opposed to each other. And then the second question about God being everywhere or the truth being everywhere, then why temples? As a youngster, and many youngsters used to go up to Swami Chinmayananda Gurudev and ask him that, why do we need to go to temples? If God is everywhere, in simple words, if God is everywhere, why do we need to go to temples? So he used to laugh and say, well, you can dance at your home, why do you go to the discotheque? Isn't it?
Wonderful, yes.
Huh? Yeah. You can dance with your mother, why do you want to get a strange girl to dance with? Or boy, whatever, So Temple is that place where people go together to invoke that devotion in themselves or have faith in the higher power and the ambience that it creates. Of course, there are places which have got a very unique divinity, association with divinity. So naturally it brings that mental atmosphere. And our temples are also made very, very, spiritually, scientifically. So they do have a presence. Just like, a restaurant has an ambience. You can have better food at home. But why do you go to a restaurant? So same way, the importance of temples.